Welcome to Rissa. As my first video, I thought I'd show you something I made for my niece. She asked me to make a pencil case, so I made her a graffiti pencil case. Very simple, you only need basic skills. I'm going to run through how you can do that. First off, what you need is just a piece of fabric. Now your fabric can be plain, it can be have a pattern on it. Calico works fine. I wouldn't go any thinner than calico. A bit of upholstery fabric works really well as well. This is a upholstery, it's a little bit thicker, a bit more durable, so we'll start with that piece. What you want to do first is the background. So for the background you just want to add a bit of paint and a bit of colour onto the fabric. It doesn't have to be precise and you can be as messy as you want. You've got to remember, street art and graffiti art is quite messy. Now for the background, the paints I'm going to use are just some standard acrylics. Anything you've got around the house will do fine because the pencil case doesn't have to be waterproof. We're just trying to get a block of colour down. So I've just poured in some acrylic. I've got some yellow and some white and some red. I'm just going to put it on quite messy. Just dipping my paintbrush in the water so I can have some more intense colours and some thinner areas as well. I don't wash my brush, dip it into the yellow. I want to get the colour transferring and making a nice tone. So by doing that I've got some yellow and orange coming through there as well. A bit more water to my brush and I spread it out. I'm getting a whole series of colours coming through. I want just the pure colour, so I just want just some yellow over here. I will clean my brush, paint some yellow here. Again, just messy wherever you want. There is no rules to this. You just want to make a messy background that then you can then stamp, stencil and play into. Once you've painted your whole background, it's quite messy, but that's what we want. Next I'm just going to do some stamping into it. So the stamps I like to use are just simple basic shapes. These are from Impress Me. There's a whole series of nice simple shapes that work really well. Really simple. Use the Lumineer paints. You can use any paints. Acrylic paints will work well with this as well. Put a little bit on a sponge. Dab it onto the stamp. Doesn't have to be even, again we're going for that messy look. Push it down, press nice and hard, and you can see there we've got the impression already. Do a few of those, all different stamps, just in random spots. You can try a couple different colours. I'm sticking with warm colours on this picture. So that means I've got the reds, oranges and yellows, and I'm using a copper gold. This one here is quite faint. They'll come out quite nice. Just done a bit more stamping there using a bit of acrylic paint with different shapes. Now I'm going to try a stencil. Now I made just a basic stencil, just like a snowflake. If you look up Chris Garmy on the internet, there's heaps of patterns. So I'm just going to place this here because I only want a section of this, so I'm going to place it in the top corner. And I'm going to use some orange colours for this one to keep with my warms. Just put a bit on the dry part of the sponge. Holding my stencil down and just dabbing. Peeling that off, and then I've just got a nice simple pattern on there from that as well. Next I've got to let that dry and then we're going to do the basic word design. So my piece is all dry now, so now I've got to work out how and where we're going to put the word. So I'm going to put the person's name, but what you remember is it's going to be folded and this bit here is going to be your top of your pencil case. That means you need to write the letters coming from this side across. So I like to work when it's folded. and I can place my letters. Often use a white pencil, just makes it easier to see what you're doing. And I start by just doing the basic letters, and then I'll make them larger or fatter and change their shape. So I've done my letters, Tanami. Now I've made it come over a bit too much on this side, so as I make them larger and do the outlines, I'll move them across more to this side. Now to make them larger, all I'm doing is basically tracing around the lines that I did. So basically they're like my skeleton, and I'll trace around. If you get stuck, you can always go on the internet, print off a font that you might want to follow. Okay, just to give you some ideas, there's lots of these on the internet. Also, by using a white pencil, you can paint over it easily, and you can also just rub it out if you want to. One other thing you need to consider is make sure you've got enough room left at the top, because this is where the zip's going to be. So notice my lettering, I've got about 1.5 centimetres here, so I've got enough because I'm going to lose a bit when I put my zip in. Same on the sides, I'm going to lose about 1 centimetre when I do my sewing of the sides together. So I've just finished that. What I've got down there is Tanami, that's my daughter's name. Now I've got it down in pencil. I've just made the letters quite fat. So what I'm going to do now is just paint the base coat on first. So this could be basically what you want the undercolour generally to be, and then you're going to paint over it anyway. So I know she wants hers to be pink, so I've just made a dark pink basically just to get around and get the basics block colour down first, and then I will make it a gradient going up. I'm going to use purple going up for this one, I think. So then it stands out as a nice high contrast against the yellow. Show you how it's done on one letter. So you can see. Just basically following the outline of the white. Don't have to worry about being too precise. If you go outside the lines, you are going to go over it with permanent marker anyway. And that's what makes this technique so easy. The mistakes basically come part of the artwork. So just like that, nice base coat, make the letter stand out. I'm going to do that for all of the letters. So I've got the base coat down for all the letters. Now I need to work on getting the tone happening, because I want a gradient of the dark coming up to light. So I'm going to be using purple at the base. I'll be bringing it up just gently into the pink. Now the pink is still slightly wet, so it makes the blending much easier. This way you will also start defining the letters, because they look a bit more like a jumbled mess. But this way we can start defining how the letters are. So using it more solid at the base now. Now I'm going to add a bit more pink to my brush and blend that in. Just working the paint, just a little bit at a time. You want that a nice gradual blend. You don't want to see a line when it comes up. So just a bit more pink up the top to lighten that area. Blending that down. And that gives the start of my tone. So I'll work on that for the rest of the letters, and then we'll have to see how it looks. Now I've added some highlights to the top of my letters as well, and I've defined them more with the purple and the pink. I'm just going to let this dry, and then I'll start doing the outlines. Now the letters are all dry, I'm just going to use a permanent marker to outline them, and that will also define them more, so they're much clearer after you've done that. So just using a Sharpie or anything similar, simply go around the outside of the letters. Nice thick line. Adding any of the other details you need to add. You can already see it's defined quite well. The letters come out from the background a lot more as well. Just finished outlining all the letters. Now you can see the name nice and clear. What we've got to do now is sew it into a pencil case. Across the top here is where we're going to sew the zip. You simply place the zip on this side, and we'll sew down here. Then do the same on the other side. Once that's done, we'll simply fold it together, right sides together. We'll sew down here and down here, and the pencil case is finished. Sewing the zip down on one side, sewing it there, and then what I've done is also, I've just secured it by sewing it down across this side as well. Just by sewing it on here, keeps the zip from moving. So I'll now do the other side exactly the same way. Now the zip has been sewn in place on both sides, front and back. Simply place two sides together. Zip it up just to make sure that it works. Then I'll unzip halfway, sew down this side and sew down this side. Once that's sewn off, I can cut off any extra part of the zip that I need to. So we'll open it up halfway, and then I have to sew it right sides together, so inside out. Both sides are sewn up, so you simply turn it out right. Now we have a completed pencil case. Hope you enjoyed the video. Look out for more things from Rasad coming soon.